Breaking news here on the beat on WMYT 106.7 FM, exclusively about a press release just released about House Resolution 545. It has been recently introduced in the House of Representatives, calling on the U.S. government to change its system of accounting from cash basis to accrual basis as enforced by the Securities and Exchange Commission on publicly traded companies in the private sector. And the force, and I do mean force, behind this resolution now being introduced in the House of Representatives, live from New York, our good friend, former Congressman and CPA, and author of Unaccountable Congress, is Joe Diaguardi. Good morning, sir. Congratulations.
Good morning, Curtis. As you know, I've been working on this for over a year. I mean, for 29 years, I've been pounding the table about the lack of accountability. But in the last year, I decided to connect the dots, put together a draft of a resolution that showed that for over 60 years, important people in Washington have been calling for the right accounting system, but nobody's been listening. But here we have it now, the resolution, and I'm so happy with it because now it's not only got the sponsor, Congressman Renacci from Ohio, a CPA who's very active in the Ohio Society of CPAs, but he got the co-chairman of the new CPA caucus in the House. The chairman, the co-chairman, a Democrat and a Republican, Brad Sherman from California and Mike Conaway from Texas, have signed on to it, and now other people are signing on. Why is this important? You know, it comes just at the right time. There was an article you may have missed in the Wall Street Journal because it was in the book review section by a James Grant. He's known as mainly an investment advisor, someone that is really concerned about the Fed, but he wrote an op-ed book review called Blotting the Balance Sheet, and it was about a book that was just written by a Jacob Saul. He's a professor, get this, of both his history and accounting at the University of Southern California. His book is The Reckoning, by the way. But here's what James Grant says about Jacob Saul's book. He quotes Jacob Saul saying, "Rulers used to go broke through ignorance. Today, there is no excuse. Accountants are everywhere. 15th century Spain and 18th century France went broke through ignorance as much as mismanagement. Their rulers, Saul shows, lack timely and well-organized data. There's no such excuse today. The combined budgets of the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, and the Congressional Budget Office, CBO, and the Government Accountability Office, GAO, top $600 million. So here we're spending $600 million on accounting, and apparently we're not getting it. And then he goes on to say, foundations and think tanks dot Washington's cityscape. In New York, the continually updated digital readout of the public debt that jolts passerbys at West 44th Street and 6th Avenue shows that we collectively today owe $17,532,077,000,000. Or did we say on Friday at 10 a.m.? And that's not counting, here he goes, that's not counting the huge unfunded liabilities of Social Security and Medicare. And it goes, the U.S. would make the best-informed sovereign bankrupt in history. He's saying all the things are there, but no one's paying attention. And then the next day, Saul himself writes an op-ed piece, no accounting skills, no moral reckoning. So now what he's doing is what I've been doing, making this a moral issue, Curtis. And it is, because the next generation has no idea what we're putting on them.
No matter the expert I talk to, and I include you on that list, history shows us what works and what doesn't work. And they're called eternal truths. And,
yes.
and that's the sad part. We live in a time in America. We've come to that time in America. Other societies have, and they've gone to the trash heap of history. But we're now in that historic time. And I'm so proud of you, Joe, and you should be proud. And we have to say thank you to you that because of your vigilance, House Resolution 545 has been introduced to take us back to an eternal truth, what works and what doesn't work.